Good evening, friends. Today I am going to take this session on the interstate councils. Guys, we are doing the governance sessions of the governance part of the constitution, guys. So we start our discussion with the parliamentary form of government, and we have discussed what exactly parliament with the presidential form of government. After that, we have seen the federal structure, the unitary structure. Okay, guys, and after that, we have taken the amendment of the constitution, basic structure of the constitution. Okay, so after those topics, we have seen the important provisions, that is center-state relations. In the center-state relations, we have seen the three type of relations, that is the legislative, administrative, and the financial. Okay, guys, after center-state relations, we have taken again the financial provisions. In financial provisions, we are having the three type of financial provisions, that is the national emergency, president's rule, and the financial emergency. So after seeing all those things, we have only 2-3 topics left over in this part, guys. Okay, that is the interstate council and the zonal council. Now we are going to discuss those interstate council and the zonal council with as the topic interstate relations, guys. Interstate relations. We have seen the relations between the center and the state, that is between the father and the children. Okay, now we are going to take the relation between the states, that is between the children themselves, between the childrens. Let us start our discussion, guys. Okay, so the topic for discussion is the interstate relations. Interstate relations. Okay. So, okay guys, so we have interstate relations in our discussion. So in the previous classes, we have seen the center-state relations and the articles related to the center-state relations, and the few articles covers this interstate relations also, guys. Okay, so we will see, guys, interstate relations are very important. Interstate relations are very big important because, guys, see, this is an India. Okay. This is an India. So if we are having the provisions of only this part, like we can say it is Tamil Nadu or Karnataka, so then we can cover this part very easily. But what happens, guys, the Kaveri river flows. Kaveri river flows between the Tamil Nadu and the Karnataka. Kaveri river flows between Tamil Nadu and the Karnataka. Then it is an issue, guys. Then it is an issue. Then to resolve this, it is going to helpful. That is interstate relations going to play very important role in resolving this type of issues, guys. Okay. So if you see interstate relations, in constitution we are having the few provisions of the interstate relations. Okay. In constitution we are having the few provisions of interstate relations. So let us see those topics, guys. Okay. First one. So if you say the first one, that is the provisions in the constitution. Provisions in the constitution. So what are the provisions in the constitution regarding the interstate relations? If you see, guys, article 262. Article 262. Article 262 says that adjudication of the interstate water disputes. It says that adjudication of the interstate water disputes. Interstate water disputes as the example that I have taken right now. So adjudication of the interstate water disputes. So we have that is, if this territory belongs to one country or the one state, it is enough. But the river is not like that. But the river flows from the many states or many countries, guys. Many states or many countries. Then we have good coordinated relation between these two, guys. That's why we are having the article 262, that is adjudication of the interstate water disputes. Okay. This means that is the parliament have given the power. Parliament have given the power to go for the making the law regarding this, guys. Okay. So in this, it can have the sharing of the river water, guys. Okay. It can distribute, control. It can distribute, so the parliament can distribute or it will control the water, guys. It can control, distribute the water. So what is the quantity of the water, to whom it should be sent? Okay, this regarding these are So regarding those provisions, it will be taken by the Article 262. So if you see the in detail Article 262, it is clearly mentioned that even the Supreme Courts or the other higher courts are also not having any jurisdiction regarding this. Regarding this, they can interfere only after the tribunals. After the tribunals have given the judgment. So to have this run faithfully, they have formed the tribunals. The government have formed through an act, through the Interstate Water Dispute Act, they have formed the tribunals. Okay, tribunals. So after the tribunals decision only, if any petition went to the Supreme Court, then only they can interfere. At the beginning, the Supreme Court also or any High Court also no role to interfere in this provisions, guys, regarding the Article 262. Okay, so it is the whole, that is Parliament, who is going to take part in, who is going to take the decision. Okay, regarding the distribution of the quantity of the water. Okay, guys, regarding its control, its flow, and everything, guys. Okay, this is about Article 260. Means if you see this comes under the interstate relations. After that, we have Article 261. Okay, Article 261 says that is the mutual agreement of a public orders, records, and judiciary in all states. In all states, we should have the mutual agreement of public order, records, or the judiciary, guys. So because, like for example, if you take the example of the judiciary, guys. So if a person has did a crime in one state, like in some Telangana, okay, so this same person will flee away from the Telangana and go to the Andhra Pradesh, again he will do the crime there, guys. Okay, so there again he will do the crime. But if we are not having the mutual agreement between the state, then how we are going to catch that criminal, guys? That's why with respect to judiciary matters, in respect to public orders, or with respect to any records. For example, if we have that is any usefulness of the things. So if the state is doing any useful thing for the citizen, so if it is of the national interest, then the parliament can make the laws. If it is only with respect to the states, it should be shared to the states such that the other states also will implement, and it is going to fulfill the citizens of the India, guys. That's why we should have the mutual agreement of the public orders. What are the public orders that we are having? We have mutual agreements of the records and the judiciary in all the states. This is about Article 261, guys. Okay, and after that we are having the Article 263. Okay, so Article 263 says that coordination for the interstate, so for the proper coordination, so for the coordination, we are having the interstate council. We are having the interstate councils. So for the proper coordination of everything, we are having the interstate council. That is, it comes under Article 263. We are going to discuss in detail about the interstate council, guys. Interstate council we are going to see. We are going to discuss in detail. Okay, and after that, the fourth one, if you take, we are having the freedom of trade and commerce. Freedom of interstate trade and commerce. Okay, so this includes, so this we are having the articles from 301 to 307. 301 to 307, that is freedom of interstate trade and commerce. So whatever the trade, so whatever the product that I am having, so if a product that I am having that I have manufactured, it should be transferred to some other state such that those will come to our state. So these we have easy or a hassless movement of the trades for the trade and the commerce. For the trade and commerce. Now one more thing, guys. So regarding this, I said the freedom of interstate trade and commerce. The parliament can go for the restrictions. Okay, parliament can go for restrictions if required, and also the state government also can go for the restrictions of the interstate, but it should be taken with prior permission of the president. So if they want to go for restrict any trade, the state legislature can do, but this can be done with the prior recommendation of the president. Prior recommendation of the president. Prior recommendation of the president only in the state legislature they can go for the law, guys. Okay, so this we are having with respect to freedom of interstate and the trade, and after that we are having that. So after the fourth one I will take one more, guys. Okay, fifth one, that is the parliament have made the zonal councils. Parliament have made the zonal councils. So parliament in addition made zonal councils for the better coordination of the state. Okay, guys, these are the provisions that we are having in our constitution. Okay, so regarding the interstate relations, we are having these provisions in the constitution. So if you see all these, guys, so these are in some way or the other are related to the between the two states. Okay, guys, I think I have clearly explained what are the things that are present in the constitution. This we have discussed in the administrative part of the center-state relations. Same with this, guys. Okay, and now in this session, after seeing this, I am going to take the special focus on the two things. That is the zonal councils and the interstate councils. What are the zonal councils and what are the interstate councils, that I am going to take the discussion in detail in this class. Okay, so with respect to interstate relations, these are the provisions that we are having in the constitution regarding this. This 262, 361, 263, 301 to 307, and the parliament in addition make zonal councils, guys. Okay, this through the amendment act. Okay, this to the parliamentary law, guys. These are the provisions. So now we will start with respect to the interstate council. So what exactly interstate council, guys? What exactly interstate council? Okay, guys, I am taking the topic that is interstate council. Interstate council. So interstate council we have seen article number 263. Article number 263. So what do you mean by interstate council? Interstate council is simple. The article 263. In the article 263, it says that the constitution has given the power to the president. Constitution has given the power to the president to form the interstate council when and the time he feels it is necessary. When and time he feels necessary at the interest of the citizens. At the interest of citizens. At interest of citizens. So if it is going to serve a lot for the citizens, then the president can form a interstate council. President can form interstate council through article 263. Means simply it is the non-permanent. It is not a permanent constitutional body. It is not a permanent constitutional body. Okay, not a permanent constitutional body, I said. So I want to justify this statement, guys. I said it is not a permanent constitutional body. So why I said it is not a permanent? It is not a permanent because when the president feels that if there is any interest of the citizens to be served a lot, then he can form the interstate councils. So when he feels to form, then only he can form, guys. Otherwise he won't form. It is a jurisdiction of the president to form the interstate council. That's why it is not a permanent. I have justified this. It is not a permanent, and I said it is a constitutional body. Why I said it is a constitutional body? Because we have the provisions regarding this in article, guys. So whenever we are having the provisions regarding anything in the constitution, simply it is constitutional body. Simply it is constitutional body. So, and I said it is not a permanent. So now shall we go for the opposite of this? What is the example of the permanent constitutional body? We have Election Commissioner of India. Election Commissioner of India, we have articles from 324 to 329 means it says that it is the constitutional body because it has the provisions regarding the ECI in the articles. That's why it is constitutional body, and it is a permanent because once it is formed, it is fixed. Okay, so it has been formed from days. So these provisions we are having the constitution itself. Okay, and that's why it is not permanent. It is a fixed body, that is permanent body. Okay, guys. So and after that I said it is constitutional body. And what do you mean by statutory body? Statutory body means if a body has formed through an act of the parliament, it is called as statutory body, that we are going to discuss. For example, we have the zonal councils. We are having the zonal councils that which are going to discuss right now. Zonal councils have been formed by the State Reorganization Act 1956. State Reorganization Act 1956. Through the State Reorganization Act 1956, the zonal council has been formed. That's why we call it as a statutory body. We call it as a statutory body. Statutory body, because about this we are not having the provisions in the constitution, guys. But whereas with this we are having the provisions in the constitution. That's why it is called not a permanent constitutional body, guys. Okay, I think I have cleared your concept. So it is not a permanent constitutional body. So whenever the president feels to form, then he can form that interstate body, guys. Interstate body. So it is not a permanent constitutional body. It is formed through the president's order. President's order means it will be formed through the order of the presidents, guys. Okay. So this is the about the interstate relations, guys. Okay. It is about the basics of the formation. But this have been formed with the recommendation of the Sarkaria Commission, guys. Okay, this have been formed with the recommendation of Sarkaria Commission. Sarkaria Commission. So with the recommendation of Sarkaria Commission, this body has been formed. So for the first time, it has formed in the Janata Dal government, guys. It has formed in the Janata Dal government. That is the Charan Singh's PM. Okay, it is formed during the Janata Dal government in the year 1990, guys. So during that time, it was formed in the first time during 1990, guys. Okay. So now after seeing all this background, that is the establishment, let us see its structure. Let us see its structure of the interstate council, guys. Okay, guys, interstate council I explained, guys. It is through the 261, means it has formed through the article 263 on the recommendation of the Sarkaria Commission. On the recommendation of the Sarkaria Commission, based on this article 263, the interstate council has been established, guys. Okay, and it is not a permanent constitutional body, and it is the president's order, the recommendations of the Sarkaria Commission. Now it was formed during the Janata Dal government in the year 1990. So if you see structure, it is having the PM as the chairman, guys. PM of the country as the chairman. Okay, or you can say the chairperson. Okay, the chairperson is the prime minister. So after that, the PM, we are having these members. The members include all the CMs, all the chief ministers of the states includes the CMs, and all the CMs of UTs. Okay, this includes the CMs of the states. This includes the CMs of the UTs having legislative assembly. So those which are having the legislative assembly, there's CMs, guys. After that, we are on the administrators. Administrators of UTs means, guys, in the union territories we are having two assemblies, guys. That is the Puducherry and the Delhi. There we are having the CMs. So whereas in the other places we are not having the CM, that is simply we have the administrators. Then the administrators of the UTs, and after that governors of state having president's rule. Okay, so governors of the states having the president's rule, and after that we are having the 6 cabinet ministers. 6 cabinet ministers, including Home Minister. Okay, so this is the structure of the interstate council. That is the PM as the chairman or the chairperson, all the CMs of the state, all the CMs of the union territories having the Lok Sabha, the legislative assembly, the administrators of the union territories which are not having the legislative assembly, the governors of the state having the president's rule, and the 6 cabinet ministers including home minister, guys. This is the structure of the interstate council. Now, after seeing the structure, let us see what are the functions of the interstate council, guys. What are the functions? So, if we see the functions of the interstate council, they will first see that is the inquiry into the issue, guys. First inquiry into the issue. So what is the issue between the two states? So they will see if there is 2 or if it is more than 2, they will inquire the first thing. After inquiry, they will go for the investigation and the discussions. Investigation and discussion on the matter. Okay, guys. After the investigation and discussions, they will give the recommendations, guys. They will give recommendations to the body. Recommendations will be formed by this committee. Okay, we have the standing committee, guys. We have the standing committee to see all those things. Okay, we have the standing committee. I will discuss about the standing committee. So after the standing committee going through the standing committee will go through all these matters, guys. Okay, so if you see the functions of the interstate council in detail, that is about the inquiry, that is investigation and the discussion, and the recommendations on the subject. And one more thing, it is not binding. Not binding. What do you mean by not binding? Not binding means if after the summation of the report to the committee, after the committee submits the report, then it is the structure. So it is the people who means it is the members who are going to take the decisions. Means whatever the recommendations they have given, it is not mandatory to include all those recommendations in the structure. Okay, so it is not mandate, so it is not binding. So opposite of binding, we have the opposite of non-binding, we are having the bindings. Why we are emphasizing this thing means few provisions in the constitution when we discuss some are the binding and some are non-binding. So here it is not binding, means whatever the functions, so whatever the things they will recommend, it is not mandatory to follow by the president. So if the president wants to take this recommendation, he will take, otherwise he won't. So this is about it is not binding, guys. It is not binding on the presidents to consider this report. So we have inquiry, investigation, discussion, recommendation, and not binding on the things to be followed. Okay, so after this, they will go for these 4 functions. So and not only these go for, they will inquiry into the legal and any controversy, illegal matters. Okay, they will inquire into any controversy, illegal matters also. So these are the functions of the interstate council. So guys, in this interstate council we are having the standing committee. So standing committee, like it will scrutinize, guys. So it plays a very important role in the in the scrutinization. So the work of the standing committee we see. So standing committee how the members of that is the home minister as a chair. Home minister chair. After that we have 9 chief ministers, guys, and after that we are having the 5 cabinet ministers. Okay, so this is about the interstate council, guys. Okay, so with this we have done with the interstate council. Now I will take some discussion, that is few points on the zonal council, guys. What do you mean by zonal council, its functions and those things? As I said that we at the parliament have made the zonal councils, guys. Okay, so if you see the zonal councils as made for having the, that is, so same with respect to the interstate council. So the crux of the issue is the same. Okay, zonal council. Whereas the interstate we are having the entire interstates, but the zonal councils we are having with respect to different states. So our country will be having the divided into some. So our country is then divided into some parts. Okay, few countries like few states are like that. So the depending upon the place of the location, we have different culture and all those things, guys. We have different culture and all those things. Like we have southeast states, we have the northeastern states, we have the northern states, central and the western states. So depending upon these states, we have different culture, the river section that flows over there, and the languages they speak. Like that, we are having the different issues. So in zonal councils has been established. This was mooted during the Jawaharlal Nehru only, during the Jawaharlal Nehru government only. That is in the year 1950s. So the zonal councils has been established through an act of law, act of parliament, act of parliament. They have been established the zonal councils. So the zonal councils has been established through the act of parliament because it has established through the State Reorganization Act. State Reorganization Act 1956. So zonal councils has been established through the State Reorganization Act 1956. That's why it is called as an statutory body. Statutory body, because if any organization has formed out of the law act, it is called statutory body. Very very important, guys, because they will ask me the questions. So zonal council is a constitutional body. Consider the following statement regarding the zonal council. Same with respect to the interstate council. So zonal council is a statutory body. Wrong, guys. So it is correct. It is not a constitutional body. It is statutory body. So it has formed through the State Reorganization 1956. So at the beginning, so during its formation, it have that is 5 ways. That is, we have the northern, as I said, zonal, guys, not interstate. Zonal means different zones. We have the northern, we have the southern, central, eastern, western. So we have 5 zones during its formation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 during the formation, guys. Okay, so what are the functions of this zonal councils? The zonal councils will be having the different functions, guys. Why? Because so they are going for the, that is, emotional intelligence collaboration, guys. Okay, so the emotional intelligence of these people may not be same as this and this. So that's why these zonal councils are helped to form the emotional intelligence coordination between the zonals. Okay, and they are going to restrict this their like their what we can say that issues, guys, means like the regionalism issues. Like we have the regionalism. Okay, few says that this is our region, this is our adda. No, guys, so this should be override our regionalism, that we have the linguistic problems. Okay, linguistic problems, the cultural problems. So to resolve all those things, we have these zonal councils, guys. If you see, these are the functions of the zonal council. We are going to take over all those things. Okay, guys. So, but we are having these 5 as the initial, guys. But what happens, in the year 1992, okay, in the year 1992, Northeastern Council Act 1992. So in the year 1992, Northeastern Council Act, they have formed the one more zonal council. That is the Northeastern Council. Northeastern Zonal Council. They have formed in the year 1992. They have formed Northeastern Zonal Council. Means this includes the 7 states of the Northeastern region. That is Tripura, Mizoram, Manipur, Nagaland, Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, they include those 7 states. But this Sikkim was not included in this or in this. But in the year 2002, in the year 2002 or 2003, guys, this in the year 2002 or the 2003, they have added, they have amended this and added Sikkim. Okay, they have amended that and added Sikkim in this in the Northeastern Zonal Council, guys. Okay, so after seeing this, so let us see its composition, guys. So what is the composition of the Zonal Council? if you see the composition of the zonal council, composition, guys, see here we need to discuss one thing, guys. So we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 zonal councils, but that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For all 6 zonal councils, Home Minister is the chairman. Home Minister is the chairman. Guys, this comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs. This comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. The Home Minister is the chairman of all these zonal councils. He will go for the conducting meetings when and where when it is required. But he is the chairperson. But we have the vice chair, guys. So vice chair. So the vice chair. So he is the chairman for entire zonals. After that, we are having the different councils. So if you take, for example, the zonal number 1, the vice chair. Vice chair is the vice chair of the council is the Prime Minister, guys. Sorry, we have the guys. Sorry. So guys, we are having the chairman as the Home Minister, and after that we are having the CM. CM was the vice chairman. So vice chairman will be CM. So but we are having the CMs of the different states. So we are having the CMs of the different states. So that's why the vice chairman is the CM is the vice chairman for individual. Like for example, if you take the Northeastern Zone Council, okay. So here we are having the 8 CMs. So every year there will be one CM as the vice chairman. Every year there will be one chairman as the vice chairman as a rotation, guys. As a rotation, they will act as the vice chairman, guys. Okay, and so along with this, we are having the 2 ministers of the states. 2 ministers of states and advisors. Okay, so this is with respect to the one zonal council. This is with respect to one zonal council, but to everyone, that is the Home Minister is the chairman, guys. Okay, so for a single zone, the CM is the vice chairman, and we have 2 ministers of the states, like who is having the CM, like for example Tripura CM, 2 ministers of that states. Like that we are having the province, guys. Okay, so with this we have done with the zonal council, guys. Okay, so guys, we are done with the interstate council and we are done with the zonal council, guys. Okay, thank you one and all.